Shalom, God Allah, Yahweh, Shalom, Shalom to the elect. I was online just doing some of my business and stuff, and I happened to come across this right here, which they say was based off the one movie, The Green Mile. If you've seen that, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, you may want to check it out. But I happened to see this clip right here. And then I read some of the comments, people be like, oh, why would they do such a thing? Or why these things happen to our people? Or why God let things like this happen to our people? When you read the clip over here, let me see. Make sure my screen clear out. It says the youngest person ever sentenced to death was 14 years old, George Stanley Jr., African American, which we're not African American. Those two words come from Edomites. But that's another topic for later. And I says, who was accused of killing white girls aged 11 and 7? George was sentenced and killed with the 5,380 volt shot in the electric chair. 70 years later, in 2014, George was proved innocent. So people in the comments, they pissed by this. Some people, they ain't really know about this. So I remember watching the movie The Green Mile as a young boy, but they painted him. They weren't gonna put no little kid in that movie. And actually, a teenager, I should say, because he wasn't just a little kid. He was a young man. But they weren't gonna put no little young man in a movie like that and have him getting shot to death. So they put the guy, I want to say, that was Clark Duncan or something like that. So you got people in the comments that said, I have a 14-year-old son. I can't imagine him suffering even a bit, thinking of this young boy dying of electric shock. I'm looking at this picture with very, you say, shock, saved, or it really should be sad emotions. It brought big tears in my eyes. May you rest in peace. I'm very sorry for the suffering kid. That was one comment I seen, and I was like, you know what? Let me see. Oh yeah, here you go, right here. It said whoever really killed those two girls are now suffering eternal damnation. But see, they don't understand reincarnation, because whoever actually did that, they got to come back and receive their judgment as well too. And this was the other one. It says, what have we done to be treated this way? Now I see. Okay, one more thing I'm going to as well. Make sure I got my lens cleared off all the way. I just grabbed some food, so my phone it's a little greasy. But anyway, now it says, what have we done to be treated this way, right? So I was going to move my vehicle a little earlier this morning. It was early in the morning. I happened to see this one guy, and he mentioned to me this story about. Well, at first he asked me, do I watch TV? I'm like, I don't really watch no TV like that. I like to research and look at documentaries and see real shit that's going on, stuff that actually elevates your mind, not stuff that dumb your shit down, basically. And he asked me something about, do I have HBO or whatever? And I'm like, no, I mainly look at YouTube or whatever other stuff I can research. But he asked me to pull this up because he was doing some type of lesson on it and trying to tell people about it, claim they be woke. They don't really be woke because there's a lot of events that took place mainly in the South. You hear about Florida, you hear about a different story about the Seminole Indians. You hear the stories about different slaves that went down there and paired up with those Indians and was giving Esau hell down there. Stories in Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, all the different areas. Kansas, Tennessee. Now this particular one, they were talking about what's going on in Chicago as well. And there was another area too. I ain't mistaken. I'm going to have to find it real quick. Yeah, let's go back. Oh yeah, Knoxville, Tennessee area. Houston. A lot of stuff is going on. And one of the main reasons I want to really bring this out too, because I got the inspiration from different scenarios. But this type of shit gonna happen again on a higher level, because for one, you got a lot of people that has come home from the wars over there across seas. A lot of people see the police brutality and shit like that still going on. And that's basically what triggered this stuff right here. Economic crisis, that just add fuel to the fire. People gotta scramble around for money, pay extra for gas, food. You go in the grocery store, certain food ain't in there. Like I went to the grocery store recently. There wasn't no chicken in that motherfucker. I was just laughing. I'm like, damn, no chicken in the store? This shit crazy. Certain shelves empty. They spaced this shit out to make it look like there's more stuff in there, but you can't fool somebody that really be paying attention to what's really going on. You can fool other people that's walking around sleepwalking. But the person says, why a lot of people go through these conditions and why we went through these conditions. Well, you open up that book and get that dust off it, it's right in there. Now it says Jerusalem's fall confirmed right in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 32. I'm going to jump down. In verse 30 it says, for the children of Israel and the children of Judah have only done evil before me from their youth. Because we were supposed to be precious, we were supposed to move a certain way on the earth. We did that at certain points in time. Then our people started going off, doing other shit they ain't no business. And I said, for the children of Israel have only provoked me to anger with the work of their hands, said the Lord. For this city has been to me as a provocation of my anger and my fury from the day that they built it, even until this day, and I should remove it from before my face, because of all the evil of the children of Israel and all the children of Judah, which they have done to provoke me to anger. They, their kings, their princes, their priests, their prophets, and the men of Judah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, they have turned unto me the back, and not the face. Though I taught them, rising up early and teaching them, yet they have not hearkened to receive instruction. And still to this day, a lot of people don't want to receive instruction, especially if it's coming from somebody younger than them, or somebody they feel as not worthy enough or skilled or have the credentials, so to speak. When you read about all these different prophets and different men in these scriptures, they weren't going to get no credentials from Esau. They weren't going to, you had Paul and other men that was learned men, different Pharisees that were actually learned men because they was taught under certain individuals, but more so, you read about Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Zechariah, Zephaniah, Daniel, Isaiah, all these different men. They didn't go to school for this information. It just was on their spirit, like you couldn't take them away from it. They did what it was fulfilling their lot, so to speak. Well, anyway, it says, but they set their abominations in the house, which is called by my name, to defile it, and they built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire of Molech, which that still goes on today. You look up that Planned Parenthood shit, that's basically a form of worshiping Molech, because you can just imagine what they do with the fetuses and all that different stuff. I ain't gonna tell you, but the information out, go look it up. Now it says, which I commanded them not, neither came into my mind that they should do this abomination to cause Judah to sin. But on the contrary, though, even though all this chaos, like in the book of 2nd Ezra, to talk about sedition among men, one invading one another. Scripture talking about nation against nation, one man and people against another. Even though all this stuff won't happen, it's supposed to happen before the restoration happens. But this place got to be completely done away with and made an example of before we can get on top again. Let me see, let me just load back up. Give me 1 minute. And with all this shit going on, you still have people that can't fathom this happening though. But it's gonna happen though, they're gonna see it. Just some man was blessed to be able to see it and visualize it before it happened. So you can get yourself together, get your mind together, get some of your people together, so they can be ready and alert for this type of stuff too. Let me see, let me go to this. Verse 36, it says, now therefore thus saith the Lord, the power of Israel, concerning, hold on, let's refresh it again. Too many tabs open. Give me a minute. And the link to this video, you get a chance, you can check it out. It's actually a good video, and there's some other ones too. And it actually leads you to it, so you can see what it's talking about. We actually got some good information on there. left off at. All right, back in Jeremiah chapter 32 and verse 36, it says, "Now therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the power of Israel concerning the city, whereof he say it should be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon by the sword, by the famine, by the pestilence. Behold, I will gather them out of all countries, which our people are scattered in all countries, still to this day." So this hasn't happened yet. It says, "Whither I have driven them in my anger, and in my fury, and in great wrath." So this answers the question. This guy. Oh, this woman, I should say. And then Elizabeth. Now it says, "What have we done to be treated this way?" Hey, we moved the Most High to get pissed off. He gave us specific instructions how to carry yourself, conduct yourself. And even during the time of the first Exodus, when he set up Moses, to actually be instructed. They ain't want to hear that shit then. After seeing all that stuff, seeing the ship come land on Mount Sinai, all the different plagues and stuff to hit Egypt, seeing the Pharaoh be overthrown, they still didn't want to see it then. So the same people that was back then, they back with the same mind frame. But you do have those who want to see a better place, better time, more balance, more righteousness. Actually be able to live and be rewarded for doing good. Now it says, "I have driven them in my anger and in my fury and in great wrath. I will bring them again into this place. I will cause them to dwell safely." It's not going on now. You have people getting smoked left and right, dying in accidents, from illnesses, health issues. Because what Esau putting out in the air and the water. So people really not dwelling safely. It says, "And they shall be my people, and I will be their power. And I will give them one heart, one way, that they may fear me forever, for the good of them and their children after them. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them, and I will not turn away from them to do them good. I will put my fear in their hearts, that they shall not depart from me. Yeah, I will rejoice." And see, one event is going to happen too. When you read the book of Revelation, they talk about for 1 hour, this place is going to be brought to naught. Or so great riches is brought to naught. Seeing that type of event going to put fear in you and let you know the Most High definitely orchestrated that. And you ain't going to want to turn away no more. Especially you get delivered out of that and you really know. I said, "But I will put my fear in their hearts, and they shall not depart from me. Yeah, I will rejoice over them and do them good, and I will plant them in this land assuredly with my whole heart, with my whole soul. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, like as I have brought all this great evil upon this people," because he the one who brought this upon us. You read the stories about David and the mighty man. Couldn't none of these. Matter of fact, I should get some of them. Let me get some of that real quick since I'm thinking about it. This video, it ain't too long yet. I'm gonna go to it. These fucking heathens couldn't do nothing to us. When the Most High really was working with us, we hear about the Maccabean revolts. They couldn't do nothing. Hear about the time when, I want to say, it was Judah or Benjamin and Levi, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to have to get that story. When they was going against the Amalekites, they couldn't do nothing, man. Let me see. Let me pull that one up.